The season of Lent, my dear friends, is a very unique time for us believers to go deeper into the mysteries that life has brought to ourselves because we are in this human journey. Now, the first Sunday of Lent usually brings to our attention or invites us to reflect on the temptations of Jesus by the devil. Now, talking about temptations and also the existence of the devil in these modern times, people, or especially young generations, ask the question, is there a devil? And if there is a devil, is he or if she is someone who is drawn in these pictures or artistic productions of the devil with long hair, long teeth, and dark eyes. And normally when we read the scriptures or the temptations of Jesus in whatever the gospels, we have this image of Jesus in a deserted countryside where there are no trees, there are only stones around, and there is this dark figure right on top of him or in the back of him with long hairs and stretched hands, trying to force Jesus into his own thinking or his own grip. Now that is the imagination or that is the presentation of the devil. But the question is there a devil? Is it a real person? When you read the scriptures, my dear friends, the word devil, especially in the Gospel of Mark, comes from the Greek word diabolos. When you analyze the words diabolos, the root of the word dia means two. That means there are two. There are two individuals. There are two realities. And the other word is balain, which is to throw. So that means the devil, in the English translation of it, if you go to the details of it, is that power or that energy which has two and it breaks one into different parts. That's the devil. Now, my dear friends, when you try to understand the devil in that sense, the science of psychology, usually in explanation of the human personality, it always talks about every individual having the outside personality, the inner personality. The outside personality is the social being who is the teacher, who is a doctor, who is a priest, who is a religious person or whatever. That's the outside social persona of the person. That's the outside personality, as we may call it. But there is also the dark side of us. That is called, technically in the science of psychology, the shadow of the individual, which means that we have within ourselves something that draws us to negativity. There is this darkness of our inner self, which is sometimes drawing us away from our desire to be someone into someone whom we do not want to be consciously, but it is pushing us into that direction of darkness. That is the devil when you try to understand this entire human experience, both from a scriptural point of view and also from a psychological point of view. So therefore the devil is, we can understand that force that is within us, within each and every one of us, but also within every human person in this world. And so the personification of that inner division is the devil. And also, when you go to the understanding of the word or the experience of Jesus in temptation. Now, what does it mean to have a temptation? Was Jesus having temptations? Of course, if you accept the fact that Jesus went through this inner division of the outer personality and the inner personal self, yes. The Greek word for temptation is peirazo. And remember, my dear friends, it is not a noun, but it is a verb. And the scholars who understand the language of the Greek etymology, they say the word peirazo or the verb peirazo has two meanings. One is a negative meaning, the other one is a positive meaning. So temptations in the negative meaning of the Greek word is to say that something can drive you into evil acts or something that is not correct. But the positive meaning of the word perazo is to be in a moment or a time of discernment. So when you read the scriptures and also the context of the temptations of Jesus, you can see that Jesus was in a time of discernment. He was going into his own inner self and looking deep into his own darkness, and therefore he went through this time of discernment where he overcame his own dark side. When you really think of this entire experience of Jesus in the desert, my dear friends, it can only relate to something that we all go through as human beings. As long as we are human beings, we do know, as the science of psychology reminds us and also points out to us, we are people who have this dark side within. That is the devil that is within. And also in our own experiences of inner life, in the deserts of the lonelinesses of our lives, we really experience the time of being confronted with our own darkness, and that is a time of discernment, as it was for Jesus. In this time of discernment, you only try to go through what is right for you and what is good for you. Either you go in the right way or you go in the dark way. But you can see that in the temptation experience of Jesus, not so much in the Gospel of Mark, but in the Gospel of Luke, Jesus had some strong inner convictions of faith for himself, which were rooted in God. There is the human experience of confronting the darkness within, but also we do have the possibility of overcoming these darknesses by holding on to the inner convictions which will drive us away from the temptations of our own inner individual self, but taking us to deeper and stronger actions and decisions of faith. So therefore, my dear friends, the temptations of Jesus only remind us that we all go through the same experience that Jesus went through in his life. He overcame the dark side of his own life. He overcame the temptations of his own inner self by holding on to what was bringing him strength, that is, his oneness with the Father and also convictions of the values of the kingdom. So, temptations of Jesus is a reminder to us that we all also, as human beings, we need to also move into these times of discernment here and there, to ask ourselves, step back and see the darkness within, recognize the devil that is inside of me, so that I confront the devil with forthrightness and with courage, which comes to us through our convictions of faith. That is how we need to control the forces of evil, the devil that is within, so that our temptations may become times of discernment, which is going to take us to greater heights of our journey on this earth.